It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Malmstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance and deceive.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. But I've seen those craft shut down the silos from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon can do. They can't make them go away.
From Malmstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance and deceive. From Malmstrom to Manhattan, New York to LA, you can't get the picture if they're pale or they're gray. But what we have seen might not be what it seems when the government's shadows dance and deceive.
There are competing agendas to determine mankind's fate. Their influence here for millions of years, all part of it.
The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Coming to you from some far point station, like a cosmic tumbleweed, both north and south of the Pleiades. Here's your host, Gary Anderson.
Well, here it is, Friday, and guess what tonight is? It's Scary Friday. Well, it's a little bit scary anyway. We got a couple people tonight, great guests. Our first guest, it will be on in a few minutes, is R.W. This gentleman has, died several times, and he's going to talk about what it's like to die. And then after that, we got Tobias Wayland. We're going to be talking about cryptids, monsters, and scary stuff. Hey, James, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing just fabulous. How you been?
I'm doing really good. You know what I read in the news today, or off the news service? A Oregon woman, actually had one of the unpleasant ways of almost dying. She went in her backyard to do some, yard work and stuff like that, James. And you know what happened?
I'm afraid to ask, but please.
Well,
tell me.
There was an old steel septic tank. And evidently, she walked on her grass and fell into the septic tank. The bad news is her daughter couldn't find her for 3 days. And then today, evidently, the daughter went again to her mother's house and heard screaming. This poor lady, I hate to say it. You know, somebody going into the shitter, she's been in the shitter up to her head almost for 3 frickin' days. She was standing in the septic tank. And, you know, I did more reporting or checking into it. The average person, if they fall in the septic tank, only has minutes to live.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, it adds a whole new twist to is the grass greener on the other side of the yard. Wow.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When you go into the shitter, you better be careful. It is so scary just to think about. You fall in a septic tank. I'm just wondering how many people, you know, have actually maybe, you know, on old properties, you know, going back 100 years or so old, you know, the wife or husband comes home, they can't find their spouse, and maybe they fell in the septic tank.
You would think they would see the hole in the yard where she fell in. My goodness.
Well, evidently the daughter didn't go in the backyard till today. Could you imagine, though? I guess after a while you wouldn't notice the smell, but wouldn't you think the acid would eat up all your skin?
Well, yeah, the chemicals that's in it, plus, my goodness, the possibility of diseases, bacteria, you name it, a whole plethora of things could go wrong there.
Well, maybe now Clackamas, Oregon, I hate to say it, will be in the map for the longest stay in a septic tank. I have no idea.
That is a record I would not want to hold or break.
And then killer clowns. There was a report today. Do you know, the big craze started in our country in 2016, and it spread like in Brazil, everywhere, right? Where you're going into maybe a parking garage after work, you work late, and some clown comes after you with a machete or a chainsaw, and, you know, you're scared, right? You're going to be chopped up. And it's all done, you know, to be put on YouTube and as humor. But since 2016, worldwide, there's been over 100 reported cases of death, not being chopped up with a machete or getting with the saw. People just keeling over dead from being scared of a heart attack.
Well, plus they're not even factoring in post-traumatic stress, anxiety-ridden, and the nightmares are given maybe older people and women and stuff. That's crazy. I got to tell you this much: I'm not the kind that runs. I'm the kind that runs too. So the clown might be in trouble.
Well, put it this way: if somebody is running a chainsaw and coming at me, I'm not going to run to them. I just don't want to be cut in 2 pieces or 3 or 4. And now, black-eyed children, so-called black children, you know, has been spotted all around the world. You know, United States, UK especially, and you know there hasn't been any reported deaths from black-eyed children. But you know what's been funny? Some of the black-eyed children, some of the houses they went, supposedly to, which some of the neighbors said they saw these like children that the eyes were black. The tenants in the house like disappeared, never heard of again.
You know, I've been around many places and been paranormal for 30-plus years, and I've never run across these black eyes. Now, I've seen people's eyes turn black, but that was a whole nother story. And I wonder if there's not a lot of pranking going out there with people putting black contacts in or something. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, but this has been going on since the 90s. So, I mean, this is, or actually, let's backtrack. It's been going on since the early 80s.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard reports of it. I've never come across any solid evidence to prove it. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I've never come across it.
I haven't either. But you know what? It's no different than Mothman or anything else. I mean, how many people actually, you know, seen a Mothman?
That's true. Well, by the reports, they're all over the place anymore, I'll tell you. Chicago to West Virginia, New York, Wisconsin, Illinois.
Texas.
Indiana. Yeah, Texas. Even Ohio.
Oh, yeah, especially in Ohio. Now, let's get RW on the line. I'm going to give him a call right now. So let's give him a call. Now, people, RW, he has died more times than I can count. And we're going to talk about his near-death experiences.
Ooh.
Well, RW, how you doing? Are you set for this huge storm that's coming your way?
I am slightly aware of that, but you know, I'm using positive influence on it, and I'm trying to tell all people that I know, send it back out to the Atlantic. Send it out to the Atlantic.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm good with it.
Send it out somewhere.
So-
But this is, I guess, going to be a major one. They're talking about Category 5?
4.
Wow.
4 and 5, yep.
Yeah.
That's,
That
possibilities that my projections are, just because I'm a Florida native, the natives here, the actual natives, not the ones that come here from Canada and everywhere else, they have we have a different mindset about it. We go, yeah, it's a tropical storm or it's a hurricane, whatever. We don't really get that worked up about it because, we've been through them, enough of them. This one here, it's no different than Irma was a couple years ago, when that came through. And, of course, I had to buckle down at that point, to make sure, the home front was safe. But all in all, I don't really worry about them. I just have this positive thought that, it's going to die out or it's going to change course or whatever.
Yeah,
So-
maybe it'll go to Nebraska instead. A question. I look at this. I mean, what are the stores like right now? Are they sold out of like water?
Oh my God!
and
you would
food?
think it was the end of the world, Gary. Walmart, Sam's Club. Every grocery store. Everything's. People fighting people to get cans of soup. Bottled water is gone. Forget bottled water. But I'm like, folks, all you have to do for you to have clean, drinkable water is to, if you don't like tap water, is to boil the tap water. It boils out the impurities in it, and then refrigerate it. You're good.
Yeah, good to go.
And if you get thirsty enough, you'll drink it. If that's the case, all of us can't have Evian, and so, so I don't get people's perplexity in wanting to make something bigger than what it really is.
Well, it is really scary. You just think about the storm and the stores being sold out of supplies, batteries, flashlights, water, food, and basics, right? Bread. You just think if a national disaster ever happened, like maybe we get attacked by zombies, for example. Yeah. I'm just using that, folks, because it's Scary Friday night. So the zombies decide to attack, some cities. There wouldn't be enough food in a grocery store to survive even a day. They'd be all sold out.
Well, you have mass hysteria that first off hits everyone when a situation like that happens. That's one of the reasons why I believe that the government, about the UFOs, they keep it under wraps, because mass hysteria would happen. People are going to be, oh my God, we're at the end of the world. There's, aliens invading our planet and what have you. Personally, I think that I do believe in extraterrestrials. I've had my encounters with them, not actually like see them, coming out of a ship or anything like that, but I have seen the flying saucers. I have actually seen them. So I do believe in them. But I think they're just monitoring us, to be honest with you. That's my thoughts. They're monitoring us like we're like the animals at the zoo. And they probably have a big sign that's hanging out in front of Earth that says, "Don't feed the animals."
No, maybe they're RW. They're feeding themselves. Look at all the people that go missing. I was reading a report, from the FBI. We're talking tens and tens of thousands of people in our country are disappearing every year with no trace.
There's a report. I think it's in China. There's a specific part that's there in China or Japan. And like 1,000 people a year go missing, just vanish. There's ones that's in upper state New York. There's ones out in Colorado that people go into this park, that go into this, Federal Reserve Park, and don't come back out.
Oh yeah.
And